Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and I had a subscriber ask a question on Instagram, which I will flip in here. And he basically is like, look, I don't understand how, even though you've linked studies on it, I don't understand how anabolics actually cause muscles to grow without training stimulus. It doesn't make any sense to me. So let me put on my +5 hat of weaponsmithing to do a little bit of crafting, and let's talk about this, because guys, it's like I've linked stuff on this and people just don't seem to get it when I've linked studies on it. But let me make this perfectly clear, and this is something that every medical doctor and every nurse in the entire world knows. All right, anabolic steroids cause large amounts and rapid muscle growth in people with no exercise, meaning they work on people who are literally bedbound, bedridden, can't even move. They put enormous amounts of muscle on people. And I'm talking people have gained as much as 50 pounds of muscle while laying in a bed, not moving on anabolics, who had large amounts of muscle wasting. I don't think people understand why anabolics exist. These substances were medically created for this purpose. Most of them that are there were designed to take people who have muscle wasting and debilitating diseases and to reverse the muscle loss completely without exercise. Okay, a lot of people who are prescribed anabolic steroids cannot exercise. They physically can't, but they're there to treat like severe burn victims, like people who have massive burns all over their body and they're bedridden. They're used to treat that and reverse their muscle loss and re-put all the normal amount of muscle they should have as if they were a healthy person while they're in bed. They're used to treat muscular dystrophy. They're used to treat various muscle loss from anemia. People with severe and advanced AIDS who have experienced rapid muscle loss, they're used to treat these things. They are miracle drugs, and there are plenty of AIDS victims. If you go look, that's a big one that's easy to look at. Like nandrolone, Anavar, things like that are developed for that. Nandrolone is developed for that, and it is the single most successful substance in reversing muscle loss in AIDS patients because it also boosts their immune system. There are literally people, when you look at them, who some of them lift, some of them don't, that have been like 120 pounds, who have gone on these substances, prescription high doses of nandrolone, like up to 600 milligrams, who, when you look at them now, they've gone from like 120 pounds of wasted, looking like anorexic from the AIDS, to 180, 190 pounds lean. All right, lean guys walking around at like 190. This is what these things do after being on them for years. All right, the fact that they put muscle on people who cannot even exercise, physically cannot exercise, is a medically proven fact. Like, more people are prescribed these, thousands of people are prescribed these things who don't exercise. All right, they work. This is what they're designed to do. So people who don't understand that don't seem to, you're like completely rejecting modern medicine. All right, you're completely rejecting modern medicine and everything that we know about these substances. This is a proven medical fact. It's not subject to debate. It's not subject to dispute. Because basically to dispute it becomes a massive conspiracy theory that doctors are all lying to you, that this stuff doesn't actually work on these people. Well, it does on multiple diseases. Half a dozen different diseases are treated this way, and it completely reverses the muscle wasting. No exercise required. People don't understand why. Basically, it's about IGF-1 release inside the muscle. Part of the pathway through which muscles grow through lifting weights. When you lift weights, part of the response, the anabolic response, the threshold, is that your muscle cell nuclei release IGF-1 directly into the muscle, which causes it to grow. That's what causes the change in muscle protein synthesis. Androgens binding to the androgen receptor cause IGF-1 release. In fact, it tends to be stronger than weightlifting. Stronger than weightlifting. People on anabolics, prescription anabolics, gain muscle faster than people who lift weights. Now, people are going to say, well, that's just sick people. That won't work on healthy people who already lift. Well, that's the problem, guys. I've linked studies for you guys, and I guess I need to link it down again below. The people in this study, and this study's been replicated 6 or 7 times now, guys, repeatedly, who were given testosterone. These are healthy young men who had all exercised for at least 1 year. At least 1 year. They stopped exercising. They were given strict orders to not lift. They were not allowed to do intense cardio. They were told to do no exercise more than brisk walking. These are guys who were already lifting weights who stopped. And then they were also put against control groups who lifted weights without the anabolics. The guys on the drugs gained more muscle than the guys lifting weights while quitting lifting. So this idea that you have to lift weights to gain muscle on them is absurd. These guys gained 18 pounds of muscle in 20 weeks, confirmed by DEXA scans. 18 pounds of muscle after stopping lifting weights. These weren't untrained guys. These were guys who had all been lifting for at least 1 year straight, who came off the weight trainings. They stopped exercising, and they gained 18 pounds of muscle in 20 weeks. There's never been a documented case of a normal person lifting weights and gaining 18 pounds of muscle in 20 weeks on a DEXA scan. In fact, the control group gained a lot less muscle lifting weights. You don't gain muscle that fast from weightlifting. This was 600 milligrams of testosterone, guys. We have plenty of YouTubers and people who are using 2,000 plus. Weightlifting causes muscle growth through one pathway. Anabolics cause muscle growth through a separate pathway that's independent. And I don't think there's a synergy between the two. I think that it's additive, meaning bodybuilders and athletes and other people who use anabolics and lift weights, I think that they don't gain more muscle from it, meaning I think they gain an X amount of muscle from the drugs. Medically proven fact, we know they will. Even guys who'd already lifted weights who quit gain large amounts of muscle on prescription grade stuff, like the pharmaceutical grade stuff. They gain it. We have studies showing it, proving it. They just stop. So the drugs cause a certain amount of growth, and I think the weightlifting causes a certain amount of growth, and I think it adds to it. Meaning, had those same guys been lifting weights, if they would have gained 4 pounds of muscle from lifting weights during that same 20 weeks, I think they would have averaged maybe 22 pounds of muscle gain instead of 18 had they lifted weights on top of it. But the drugs are the large part of it. And you guys want further proof, there's no need to look any further than some YouTubers. All right, take Jerry Ward, for example. Look how he trains. Lightweight, almost all isolation movements with lightweight doing partial reps. If you look at the way Jerry trained, most people would never finish their noob gains out training that way. All right? Most people would never finish their noob gains training that way. Yet he got really big. Look at how big he was from the time period back when he was doing the BioGrow, and I linked his drug stack. He was on 2 grams of anabolics, combined anabolics, test, DECA, everything else, plus growth hormone, plus IGF-1. He was big. He was over 200 pounds, right? Over 200 pounds lean, while training in a way that most guys probably, if they were lean, wouldn't be over 150 pounds doing. Look at how he trains. His training would add very, very little muscle to anyone, including him. It was all drugs. And there you go. There's proof that this stuff works. There's a YouTube example right there. You know his drug stack. You know how he trains. And any common sense would look at the way he trains and realize that would not work. Most guys wouldn't even finish their noob gains doing it. So there's an example. But to deny the fact that anabolics put muscle on people without lifting weights is denying decades of medical research, decades of research on people with muscle wasting diseases, burn victims, anemia, AIDS, everything else. These substances put enormous amounts of muscle on people, many of them bedridden with burns and stuff, who can't move. They put muscle on them. You have paralyzed people who go on anabolics who can't move their legs, and their legs start growing. They end up with nice, muscular, solid legs as a result of this while they're paralyzed and can't move their legs at all, not even walk. All right, this is a medical fact. It is undeniable. And the same thing, people say healthy people who have been lifting it wouldn't do the same thing. Well, you have studies proving it. 18 pounds of muscle from guys who stopped lifting weights. We're talking about guys who are like 165 pounds already on average at reasonable body fats, who had already completed a good chunk of their noob gains. All right, these are guys who've been lifting. They stop lifting. They go on 600 milligrams of testosterone in the studies, and DEXA scans confirms an 18-pound muscle gain after they become sedentary. What more proof do you guys want that anabolics don't put muscle on you without lifting weights? It isn't required. It's not necessary. That's what they do. That's what they are medically designed to do, and they work really fucking well. So there you have it, guys. That's the truth. That's the reality. This is a medically undeniable fact. And anyone who denies that is ignorant and refusing to look at basic medicine. The same people probably think aspirin doesn't cure headaches. The same people probably think antibiotics don't kill bacteria. You know, I mean, how ignorant do you have to be, guys? Come on, the data is there. Every medical doctor knows this. Every nurse knows this. It is just common knowledge in the medical world. The fact that the lifting world wants to deny it is just asinine, and it shows such a degree of ignorance that people are just so fucking stupid that it boggles the mind. Alright guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.